Hey everyone, I am back. Got my hair done on Friday. I have to take a shower tonight. But I want to talk about something I've been going through. You know, or if you don't, if you're new here, um, I take care of my mom, take care of all of her bills, everything. She's in assisted living, and I got her in a really nice place. This place is 3, 4 years old, really nice. And she's on an elder waiver. If you don't know the backstory to that, that's on the old channel. Too much to get you up on here. But, she moved in, I moved her in last September, so a year ago September. And it's a great place. I am not faulting them. Listen, I know they're short-staffed, they're overworked, all the things that pretty much everybody is. But I recently have been dealing with something, and it just started me thinking, and I'm going to tell you what I'm going through right now. And this has been like all my lunches at school. I have to call. That's what I do with my lunches. I don't really get to sit and enjoy it because I'm too busy calling people. But so when she first moved in, she was on warfarin. And if you don't know about warfarin, you have to get your blood tested. You have to get it tested every month. But if it comes out like not in the range that it's supposed to be, then they adjust your medication. And then you have to come back like the next week so that they can check it again to make sure that it helped, and if they need to change it again. It's just a whole thing. And so she was in AFib, and I think that's when they put her on warfarin, and then they wanted to give her Eliquis, but insurance went cover Eliquis, and it would have cost her $500 a month. And that's why. And I don't understand, because if you're going to get your blood checked, 1, 2, 3 times a month for the warfarin, doesn't it pretty much even out? If you just get to be on the Eliquis for the doctor's appointments, how much you have to pay for those? I digress. So she was on warfarin when she moved into the assisted living, and they have a company that works. So I'm assuming it's how it works in most assisted living or facilities, is that there's a company that works with the assisted living, and then she has a doctor that comes in, that sees all the patients. Or not, I'm sure not all of them, but the ones that they see. And my mom's pretty well off for her age. She's 96, she can dress herself, she can feed herself, she can get around herself, all those things. And so the doctor comes in once every 2 weeks or something like that, and then gives me an update and stuff in the portal. I just got back into the portal because I couldn't get in after my identity was hacked. And so it's been since then. I just got in the portal, I think last week. I've been calling, I've been trying to update my information. Anyhow, I digress again. And so the nurse called me and said she needs to get her blood checked. And I said, yeah, I know, but I thought you guys would do that. Isn't that what you do? I'm assuming a lot of those people are on warfarin, because I'm sure most of them can't afford the Eliquis either. And she said, well, we don't have an INR, I don't know, what is it, tester. That's what it is, an INR tester. So it tests your blood to see the level of the warfarin. And so I'm like, okay, well, I don't know. I don't have time. I thought I moved her into assisted living, and that's what the $7,500 a month is going towards, although she is on an elder waiver. But, I would just assume that they had one, and if they didn't, and so she says to me, well, we're going to have to get one. And I'm like, okay. And she didn't say anything else. She just said, well, we're going to have to get one. And I'm like, okay. and never heard anything else about it. Never heard anything else about it. And then the doctor must have prescribed her and must have gave a reason why the Eliquis should be covered. And so now she's on Eliquis. And I think she's been on it for 6 or 7 months, something like that, which is amazing, because then you don't have to do the INR test, the blood test, and figure out if she's good or not. So then she doesn't have to get poked, you know, and get her blood drawn every week, every 2 weeks, every, you know, how many times a month. And so that was great. Never heard anything. And again, so this is like 7 months ago. And all of a sudden I get a bill, you know, I take care of all of her bills, and it's $1,343. And it said, you have to pay this now. And I didn't know what it was about. I'd never heard of the place. You know, I usually know what all the bills are, where they're from at least. And so I slipped it under the facility lady door, thinking it had to do with maybe her physical therapy for her sciatica. She's getting physical therapy. And then she talked to me and said, Tracey, I don't know what this is. And I said, oh, well, I thought you knew. I go, I don't even know where it comes from. I don't even know what this is. And I said, okay, well, I'll take it back and I'll call about it. And then I got in the mail another bill in this time. And then it gave the reason. It said, well, and it was like something MPINR. And I guess that should have been the first clue, but I didn't like put the two together at the time. But then the second one said, this is going to collections. The INR device was a rental. If you don't return it, like now, you'll be responsible for the $1,343. And so I'm like, well, why is it in her name? And why is it like a rental? Nobody ever told me. She just said, oh, we're going to have to get one. The nurse, when I talked to her, she never said, and I'm assuming that a rental agreement had to be signed, or, you know, they know I take care of everything. My mom can't see. She can't read a contract or whatever. And my mom never told me she signed anything or they talked to her about it. And so I wrote them. They got them in the portal. I wrote them in the portal and I said, hey, I got these bills. And it said she's going to collections if this isn't paid. It's for the INR device. I said, the nurse, I gave him the story. The nurse told me that they needed to get one, but never said it was going to be in her name or that it was a rental. And I said, so it needs to be returned. Here's the phone number. Here's the account number. Here's everything. I'll drop the bills off at the nurse's office so you guys can take care of this. Well, then they start emailing, because there's a bunch of us in the email. And somebody goes, I looked in the storage room, I looked everywhere, and they looked in my mom's room, and I don't know why she would have it in her room. She can't use it, but on herself. And they're like, we can't find it. We can't find it anywhere. It's not in the storage. And I said, well, I don't know I don't understand. Like, and then I said, well, it's a rental. Who signed the rental agreement? I said, she never knew about it. I didn't know about it. I didn't even know it was in her name. Nobody told me anything about this. And then nobody got back to me. So I wrote them again. I'm like, listen, this has got to get taken. And I called the company and I told them what was going on. I said, could you put notes in there? And she's like, yep, I'm typing it now. But she's still on the hook for that amount, $1,343. It's in her name. And I mean, this has been, and I said, it goes into collections. I go, she doesn't have any money. She can't pay this. And I don't want it to screw up her elder waiver. And so I said, you got to take care of it. And so today I wrote him again. I'd called the INR place and I wrote them and said, listen, you got to let me know. Did you find it? And I said, did somebody walk away with it? Because I guess the nurse who ordered it, and I'm not accusing her, but I said, did somebody walk away with it? She doesn't work there anymore. And again, I don't know, I'm not like blaming anybody or anything, but if I didn't know, first of all, that it was rented, who signed the rental agreement? Somebody had to. Didn't know it was in her name, didn't know any of it. And so now they so then they write me just now. I got a email and it said, well, this guy, the account manager, call him directly. He's been trying to get a hold of you at this number. It was my old number. And I've updated my number multiple times and my emails to everything. I even updated all. That was the whole way I could get back into the portal, because I said I don't have access to the email or the phone number anymore. But they still have my old phone number. And then I was thinking, when she first moved in, also, she can't see the pills, but she knows what she takes. Like, she knows she takes like 5 pills, whatever it is, and she knows the shape of each one. They're all different. And she kept saying to me, they aren't giving me one of my pills. They aren't giving me like she described it, I'm just saying, like the oval one or something. And so it had been like a week. So I called the nurse and I'm like, listen, my mom knows how many pills she takes. And she said that they're not giving her this one. And she goes, oh, I'll check into it. It was her blood pressure pill. They hadn't been giving her her blood pressure pill for a week. And they're like, oh, we couldn't find the prescription. Well, I'm thinking, when you put it together, like when they're giving out the pills, whoever is doing that, aren't you like, okay, she gets this, she gets this, she gets this, she gets this. And if the prescription isn't there, would you be like, we're missing this prescription. Anybody know? And then somehow miraculously, they found the prescription. And this is when they were changing hands with management. And that happened like right when she moved in. And I've really liked the nurses. I had a good relationship with that nurse. She was like the interim nurse. I have a good relationship with this nurse and the lady who runs the place my mom lives at. And again, I don't really blame them. There's so much turnover there. And just like anywhere. Again, anywhere. I know they're overworked. And then just recently, when I had to take her to the emergency room, took her to the doctor, her own doctor, even though her doctor said, well, I'm your doctor. And my mom's like, yeah, but you're not doing anything about this. So I brought her to her doctor, and then I had to go to the emergency room with her. And then they gave her a prescription, and it was a big box. It's a big box. It's like these little packets. And I even saw the nurse and I said, hey, here's the medication that she got. She's supposed to take it, whatever. Okay, yep, can I have that so I can just put it in here? I'm like, yeah, here, sure. And here, you take it, give it to, when they dole out our prescriptions. Okay. And then like a week later, she backtracked and the same thing was happening. And then I get a call from the on-call nurse on one Saturday night, about 3 weeks ago, something like that. And she's like, hey, your mom, something. And I said, well, she's supposed to be taking this medication. I go, is she taking it? And the nurse looked and she goes, no, it's not on here. I'm like, well, it's a big box. I gave it directly to the nurse. And again, I have a good relationship with this nurse. And yeah, so I was thinking, if there's a lot of people in assisted living homes, and what are they doing if they don't have someone to advocate for them? I mean, I pretty much know the answer. Guess it's rhetorical. It's just so sad because you come to the end of your life, you live your whole life, and then you're spending this amount of money to live and be taken care of, in these places. And it's because, and I was astonished at the amount when it first happened. And people are like, well, there's medical staff and stuff like that. And yes, there are nurses on duty. And yes, I mean, I get it. They get fed, all that stuff. There's people always there. And around and helping, which I couldn't be because I have to work. And so, I mean, I don't think it should cost that much, but that's a whole nother video. And I'm sure you guys think that, like, if you have dementia, I know the lawyer that we were doing, both of his parents had dementia, and he was paying $12,000 a month for each one of them, $24,000 a month. I mean, how long does anybody have that much money saved up that they can pay that much money, to be taken care of at the end of their life? But yeah, so I just want you to know, like, what I'm dealing with. I'm sure, just like all the other things I've been through, there's a lot of you going through this. I'd love to hear your stories. The one thing, again, I don't want anybody to go through all the stuff that I've been going through, but it does really help me out to know that I'm not alone and that there are other people like fighting against the same things. And it's just sad. I mean, if my mom didn't have me, I can't imagine. She'd be dead. She wouldn't have gotten her blood pressure medication, you know? She wouldn't have gotten this medication and gone backwards, and who would ever figured out that she wasn't getting it? Yeah, I don't know. But just be very mindful and just know there's people out there that don't have people to advocate for them when they can't advocate for themselves. It's just a sad, sad road that we're on. But on a good note, I figured out how to, oh, sorry. I figured out how to, I got a landing page for my newsletter. I don't know what it's going to be. I was having fun the other night. I actually made like a banner for this channel, this new channel. It was in Canva. It actually didn't fit, and I just kind of made it fit because you have to pay for like to make it a certain size. But I just did what I could and made it fit in there. And then I took a couple new pictures because I had no pictures because I couldn't save my iCloud or anything on my computer. So I have lost all my pictures. And so I took some new like headshot just with my iPhone on Sunday. So I'm going to put that link if you want to sign up. It's good news. It's going to be good news, like whatever I write, or it's going to be maybe randomly I'll write an email just to maybe start your day with something positive or something to think about that, you know, instead of like the news and all the crappy stuff going on in the world, maybe just a little, hey, you, I know you can do it. I'm rooting for you, you know, because we all need a little bit of that, especially right now. I don't know what this is, but I've been working with the kids too much. Also, okay, I got another bike. You can't see, there's a big box over there. And thank God for good neighbors because I have a neighbor, she's like 75. Her husband passed away and she's lived here for like 25 years. And we became good friends and got each other's phone numbers. And even I didn't see her car for like a couple days. And I'm like, hey, I'm worried about you. And she's like, oh, I'm out of town. I'm like, okay, just checking on you. Sorry, that's substitute teacher jobs or parent jobs too. And so when I knew I was getting this bike, I said, hey, can you keep a lookout for it? Because she's retired. And so she goes, Tracey, it came. And she goes, it's outside the door, like outside the door, outside the building door. And I'm like, oh, one time they left it in the grass outside the building. Thank God I found it. And I get it, believe me, an Amazon person, they have like 150 packages they have to deliver. This thing's like 92 pounds. I get it. He even brought it up to the door. I'll take that, even outside the door. And then she wrote me and I go, listen, I'm coming right after work. I'll get there and I'll drag it in. And then she had somebody help her here and they put it by my door. So when I came in, I brought it in. But nice to have good neighbors that you're looking out for each other. It's becoming a bike store again in here. And so I have a new king bolt. I have this king bolt that I have to use for the Black Friday sale. I've got to put the other king bolt together. I just took it out of the box. That's, you know, comes with all the styrofoam and stuffing. I got to cut things. And so at least I got out of the box. Now I got to break the box down. That's another job in itself. And putting the bike together. Once I start, it'll be fine. It's just like, oh, something else to do. But just a couple things. Who's advocating for our, I want to say elders, but I don't think that's the right word, for our loving parents and our older people, because we're going to be there someday, God willing, who don't have anybody. They're getting taken advantage of, and I'm sure a lot of them are dying because things are falling through the cracks. I've seen it quite a bit just within a year. And again, I don't fault them. I don't. I know they're overworked. And I made the landing page. I'll put the link down there. So if you want to sign up for, it's fun. I'm putting together a newsletter. And maybe I'll do that like once a month, once a week, once every 2 weeks. I don't know how this is going to work. And I think I'm going to do it when I'm on vacation next week over Thanksgiving. I'll probably send the first one out. But you can just go click on that, fill in your information. It's just, I think, your first name and your email address. And then you get a notice, success, you've been added. And then it just goes directly into my MailChimp. So I don't have to, the ones that wrote me to my email, as I said before, I had to like go in physically and put them in, but you're all in. So I don't physically have to do that anymore. You can just sign up for it. Okay? Okay, that's it. Well, it's not it. It's always longer than I think it's going to be. Okay, I'm going to let you go. That was it. I got a lot going on, but I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.